It's the most abundant substance on our planet, and yet only 1% is available for drinking water. In a July 2011 consensus, there were 300 million people living in the United States. 300 million people times 100 gallons of water per day times 365 days a year. You do the math. Public water suppliers such as Ventura Water process 34 billion gallons of water per day for domestic and public use. And how does water get transported into the home? Through infrastructure. Unfortunately, infrastructure in the United States and around the globe is aging. In some countries, it's even non-existent. In Ventura, infrastructure in various locations around the city dates back 100 years. So is it any wonder why capital projects are in place to repair and replace our water lifeline? Even so, more needs to be done. Water stewardship, conservation, and maintenance needs to be a top-of-mind consciousness if we are to be sustainable for the future. In order to address the importance of conserving water and repairing and replacing aging infrastructure, in March 2012, Ventura Water partnered with Limoneros Limco del Mar, Patagonia, and Authentic to launch the inaugural WaterTake 1 online short film contest. Filmmakers from around the globe were asked to submit their short films under 5 minutes from March 22nd through September 4th, 2012 to the WaterTake1.com website. Submitted films could be in any genre: documentary, drama, comedy, animation, sci-fi, and experimental, as long as they addressed the topic of water. 10 finalists were named October 4th, and on November 8th, at the Ventura campus of the Brooks Institute of Photography, a $1,500 grand jury prize was awarded to the film Water, directed by Peter Janssen from the Netherlands. The Best Student Short Film Award was given to the film Quotient, directed by Alexander Powell of San Diego. The film receiving the Audience Choice Award, which garnered the most votes at the WaterTake1.com site, was Don't Blow H2O, directed by Joe and John Lazo and involving the entire Lazo family, including the film's co-stars, John and Elle. This year's WaterTake 1 contest, launching on March 22nd, promises to be even more expansive. I caught up recently with the project manager, Rachel Shapiro. How was last year's contest received, would you say?
Last year's contest was very well received. We had over 10,000 views to the website. We had a lot of community involvement. We had at least 20 partners and sponsors from local organizations and agencies, private businesses, private engineering firms. The fact that we're renewing it and doing it again this year, I think shows that it was really well received by the community.
What's different this year?
Really focus on community involvement. So, last year it was very much a program of Ventura Water and the Water Department. And this year we're trying to implement programs so that people in the community, and particularly private businesses like our sponsors, can have an active role and take on some of the projects that the city is proposing and get the word out to people in their own constituency. So we're really trying to move it beyond the borders of a city program. It benefits the city, but to get community and people and local businesses involved.
Why do you think that's so important?
Because water is, something that affects everyone, and the city can lead by example. They can encourage businesses, again, to lead by example, but unless you make a change, unless every individual person makes some change, whether it's in their home, in their business, in their school, whatever it is, it takes a while. All those changes will add up to something beneficial, and that's this is at its base, the WaterTake 1 online short film contest is an awareness campaign.
I understand there's a new award?
A Ventura Vision Award, and we found last year from our film submissions, we had them from all over the world, but we did have a certain amount, which was one of our goals, from right here in Ventura. So this year, to encourage people to actively submit films, make films, and be aware, we have something called the Ventura Vision Award, which will be a special award for a project that's filmed and shot in Ventura. And when we launch, we'll announce a sponsor for that and what the prize is and all of that.
What type of awards can the winners receive?
We have several awards. The grand jury prize, which is voted on by our jury, is $1,500, and that's an actual cash prize, and we'll be announcing our sponsor for that soon. We have a Best Student Short Film Award because we work with a lot of the film schools and local schools. Last year, we put together a package so the student could have advisory services from a local production company. They got a subscription to lynda.com, which is an online service. So this year will probably be similar. We might add a few different things. We have an Audience Choice Award. There is a voting process where, that really encourages the person who made the film to get the film out to their social media contacts and their friends and family, and they will most likely win a camera. Last year they won a Canon. This year we might have a different sponsor. But, so there is a chance to win something in each case, and then, we announce that in the press, and we try to really promote the fact that these people won awards at the contest.
What's the time period for submissions?
So we launched the contest at our kickoff event on Tuesday, March 19th. At that point, people can go to the website. It's free of charge. There's no submission fee. They log on, they create a profile, they can submit their short. It's processed within the next 24 to 48 hours, and then you can view it online. And we leave the submissions open until usually early September, right around Labor Day weekend. And then we announce winners in November at another event, at an award ceremony.
Shauna Epstein, General Manager for Ventura Water, spoke to me about the contest's focus and sponsors. Why is this contest so important?
For us in Ventura, it's so important that our customers have a relationship with water and understand where the resources come from and valuing all the variety of water resources. So when we developed WaterTake 1, it's about having a contest that people can truly engage and use their own language and their own images that make sense to them, and not just hear jargon that comes from the industry. So this is an avenue to do that so that people develop that relationship and value of water.
Last year's focus was water and water infrastructure. What's this year's contest focus?
This year the focus is water efficiency and outdoor water use, and minimizing the outdoor water use, to be more exact, as well as when we speak, and it ties in with infrastructure, because when we started doing a lot of repairs on infrastructure and investment on infrastructure, that means that we were minimizing leaks in our system. And so that was what our contribution was. And now we're trying to reach out to make sure all our customers can help contribute to using less water, which only creates a bigger supply for future uses or for continued uses as the supply may be limited.
Tell me about some of the sponsors.
Well, we're excited that Patagonia will be a presenting sponsor, and the Crown Plaza is the benefactor sponsor. And then we have 3 engineering firms, CH2M Hill, Corolla Engineers, and Kennedy Jenks, who are our patron sponsors. And so all of these contributions really help us move this forward, because this is a non-traditional municipal activity, correct? So we are looking for this to be a fully engaged, participatory experience that we all work together to create a valuable program, an outreach program.
The City of Ventura and Ventura Water have teamed up with Ventura's Surfrider organization in a series of ocean-friendly garden projects. I talked with Jill Sarek, environmental specialist for the City of Ventura, about these environmentally friendly landscapes and why they are so important for our ongoing sustainability. Ocean-friendly gardens employ something called CPR. What is that?
So CPR stands for Conservation, Permeability, and Retention. Conservation of your native plants, your native habitat, conservation of water and energy through the application of water-efficient irrigation systems. Permeability is when you're breaking up the hard surfaces and allowing the water to spread out over the ground and be able to sink into the ground, so removing a lot of the hardscapes that we have. And retention is basically allowing that water to soak into the groundwater, not using potable irrigation water, drinking water for irrigating our lawns, and using rainwater as a resource. All these 3 areas are the basic tenets of an ocean-friendly garden.
What happens to an environment when it's paved with a lot of concrete?
Well, in a natural setting, on average, about 50% or so of annual rainfall will naturally infiltrate into the groundwater and replenish groundwater supplies or replenish surface water, nearby surface waters. In an urban setting, as much as 55% or more can run off the hard surfaces. Water is heated up from the asphalt and the pavement, and it picks up a lot of pollutants with it as it travels down through the urban environment on the paved streets, rooftops, driveways, into the storm drain and makes its way into the ocean.
Tell me what other elements are needed for a healthy native garden.
Oh, well, the basic idea is first we need to look at reviving the soil. In many cases, even if there are plants present, a lawn, typically there's compaction and the soil isn't functioning properly because there's non-native plants in that environment. And there's a whole host of mycorrhizae that live underground that naturally keep that soil healthy and acting like a sponge. So when we work on ocean-friendly gardens, one of the first things we do is we revive the soil. We test the soil, we find out what kind of soil it is, and we amend it with high-quality composts, compost tea, worm castings, and things like that to activate the biology in the soil to get it to function the way it's supposed to.
Is it difficult to change your landscape to a native garden?
The costs of these landscapes range. There's a wide range. The ones we've been doing, though, are relatively affordable. Really what you're looking at is the cost of some plants. Usually the city, you can get mulch from the city for free. Some of the amendments, and a little bit in terms of irrigation supplies. So the gardens that we've done in partnership with Surfrider Foundation have come in well under $1,000 for about, a typical Southern California front lawn. I've seen people go and do wonderful gardens that cost several, hundreds of thousands of dollars. It depends on what you want. But to install a native garden, an ocean-friendly garden it's rather affordable. And the way that we do it, if a homeowner brings a certain amount of volunteers and are willing to pay for a certain amount of supplies, Surfrider and Volunteer Ventura come and help with that labor cost, and that's oftentimes the bigger piece. And so hosting a garden party and making it a community event is one way to keep that cost down.
How did the partnership between Ventura Water and Surfrider come about?
The partnership started in 2010 when I saw a presentation by the then newly hired Ocean Friendly Gardens coordinator for Surfrider and Green Gardens Group, G3, were presenting. And I just personally fell in love with the program itself, and from there we were able to access some grant funding and able to get some classes, and it's been going really well ever since. So the great things about these ocean-friendly gardens is that you're no longer needing to use potable water to irrigate your lawn. We essentially, if there's subsurface irrigation, we can cap and abandon that. And in areas where we've come in and there isn't any irrigation, we don't need to install any because we're using the downspouts from the rain gutters in the roof, and we're taking that rainwater. We use calculations to figure out how much rainwater are coming off the surface of that roof, and we build the rain garden or the bioswale to accommodate that. And if you're using climate appropriate plants or native plants, they survive in our climatic conditions. They do not. They live according to the rainfall that here happens. So you're saving money, you're saving water.
What kind of watering system do you recommend?
In the cases that we do install irrigation with the ocean-friendly gardens, they want you to use the most high-efficiency spray nozzles that are available, the high-efficiency rotator nozzles, or drip irrigation is obviously a great method because it's one of the more conserving types of irrigation systems. And also you can install a weather-based irrigation controller, which uses the climatic information from satellites so that waters your lawn or your landscape according to the natural conditions.
Tell me about some of the projects you've worked on here in Ventura.
A couple of the most recent projects that we've done, we finished Fire Station 3 that's over there by Buena High School off of Victoria. We did that this summer, and it was a real success. We had high school volunteers working alongside the firemen, and we transformed that small garden in a day. We've also done the farmers market parking lot, and again, that was through volunteer labor, and as a one-day event, we partnered the city, multiple departments throughout the city, the Parks Department, Ventura Water, Environmental Sustainability, Volunteer Ventura, Leadership Ventura, Downtown Ventura organization. We had multiple partners on that project to install an ocean-friendly garden. And those are the projects that we have done and completed, and in the next year we have plans to do all the rest of the fire stations as demonstration gardens. Well, I'm standing here in front of a good example of an ocean-friendly garden here located in Midtown Ventura. As you can see by the plant material behind me, you've got a lot of native or climate-adaptive plants, some succulents. I think a lot of people, when they think of going drought-tolerant, they think that there's not going to be any plants around, but as you can see, this is a very lush, very beautiful green garden. Another characteristic of an ocean-friendly garden is that there is mulch applied down on the ground. This retains moisture, so you can water less, so that helps the plants, and that helps you conserve water and money. To find out how you can get an ocean-friendly garden or to volunteer for events and learn more about it, you can go to the city's website at thecityofventura.net/water/OFG, or you can Google search ocean-friendly gardens, and there's a wealth of information on the websites for the Surfrider Foundation and the local Ventura Surfrider chapter.
Earlier, we talked to the coordinators of the WaterTake 1 online short film contest, which launches March 19th. Also launching in March, the Never Waste campaign. Ventura Water has a new program, Never Waste. Tell me about that.
Ventura Water is a member of the Alliance for Water Efficiency, whose mission is to promote water efficiency and sustainable water use. In considering how we were going to communicate WaterTake 1 and some of the programs that we wanted to align with it, Never Waste campaign was a really great fit.
How did you become involved with that, and what is it exactly?
It's a national organization that is totally devoted to water efficiency questions in all areas. I believe there's almost 200 water agencies across the country and a number of businesses and nonprofit organizations who are aligned, and that number is growing all the time.
What do you hope to achieve with the education?
The Never Waste campaign seeks to answer one question. Do you know how much water you waste? You know, when you turn on a faucet, how do you know how much water is coming out? And then when you get your bill every 2 months here in Ventura, everything is billed in 100 cubic feet. Well, on the bill it tells you that's 748 gallons, but the truth is how much is 748 gallons? Well, I'm going to tell you it's about 15 full bathtubs. Now that makes it a little easier to understand. And in Ventura, the average household in a single family home with 4 people uses about 2,100 cubic feet of water, which is about 300 bathtubs. So you can see easily that being able to put the numbers to something people are familiar with really does make a difference in understanding that.
How does the stainless steel bottle help with consumer education?
Well, to help us visualize how much water that can be wasted in any number of situations, they're tying it to the water bottle, which is a familiar object to all of us. But this water bottle is special, and we're hoping that it becomes a symbol to remind people to act sooner rather than later to take care of water wasting situations. There's a lot of interesting messages on there, and you could actually spend a lot of time looking at all the information on there. There's a QR code that takes you to the water efficiency website. There's a lot of interesting facts and fix leaks. That's one of the top ways that we waste water. Join the Blue Revolution, and of course our logo, because we're a strong believer in this program. Educating people about the Never Waste campaign, people will start to see some of our advertising and promotional materials that tie common activities to how much water can be wasted, such as a running toilet can fill 800 of the bottles in a day. Running your garden hose can waste 32 bottles in 1 minute, which is kind of crazy. And letting the water run while you shave can waste 32 of the bottles. So as you can see, it really does start tying the message together that, you know, a lot of water can be wasted very quickly.
Ventura Water advocates drinking tap water versus buying bottled water. Why is that?
Drinking tap water is smart on so many levels, not just for your own health, but the economy. The plastic water bottles are wasteful. Tap water is very regulated and tested, and so we know what kind of quality that is. So it's much better, and so this bottle will remind you to do both. Don't waste water and to drink your water.
Hi, my name is Stephen Katawaki. I'm a water distribution operator at Ventura Water. If you've ever had a leak in your home, you know how devastating and how costly the repairs can be. And I'm going to show you how to first tell if there is a leak going through your water meter, and also I'm going to show you how to turn your water off. It's very important that we turn the water off when there's a leak, because not only is it wasteful and a lot of water flows through the meter, but it's also a damage to property and could be dangerous too. So we want to make sure that your water is shut off in a timely manner and you know exactly where your water shut off is. As you can see, most water meters are located near the front curb of your house. If you live on a corner, it could be on one side or the other side of the curb, so you want to make sure you know where it is. The meter box normally looks like a concrete lid. I'm going to open up this lid. This one has two. You can see there is your water meter, your leak detector on your water meter, and also your water shutoff. The amount of water that is flowing through your meter is indicated in this leak indicator. The slower it is moving, the less water is going through, and the faster that it moves, the more water is going through. As you're reading your water meter, the long needle is turning in a clockwise motion, and as the needle goes one full rotation, that means 7.48 gallons has passed through your water meter, or 1 cubic foot of water. This meter is telling us that there is water flowing through this water meter right now, as you can see by the leak indicator moving. And normally when you have a leak, it'll spin really slow like this or slower, so sometimes you have to look very carefully. When you come outside and see that you have a leak in your house, you want to turn off your water immediately. So you come out and check, you see that you have a leak, and you grab this handle and you turn it off. Notice how when I turn the water off, the leak indicator stopped moving and is solid. That means there is no water flowing through this water meter, and there's no water being wasted, and you're not being charged for any water. I'm here next to the water shutoff for this house, and if there's a leak inside your house or any water that's running and soaking up your carpets, you need to come outside and look for this meter. It's usually right outside your front door to either side, and normally located near or next to a garden hose. And it's this little blue valve, and you just want to turn it until it stops. If you're having any trouble at all finding your shutoff valve or having trouble turning your water off, feel free to call customer care and we will come out and help you turn your water off as soon as we can.
I go to Dianza Middle School. My science teacher is Mr. Huber, and right now we're learning about watersheds.
I learned that everybody can help. Just a little drop can help a lot of people in need.
Yeah, because we got to do hands-on to what happens around here, and the person was talking about how to prevent our waters to be more polluted than it is right now.
My name is Isaiah, and I'm here at Deanne's Middle School, and my teacher is Mr. Huber, and we're learning about watersheds. We get our water from Lake Casitas, the Ventura River, and groundwater.
I learned that we got our water from Lake Casitas, Ventura River, and underground.
We get our water from the Ventura River, Lake Casitas, and groundwater. We need to keep our watersheds clean so we wouldn't get diseases and we would have clean water to drink.
So we don't drink dirty water.
Yeah, my parents are happy for me that I learned a lot more.
When did the city get involved with educational outreach?
We've been doing environmental education through the Ventura's Sustainability Division for many years. We see about 5,400 students a year right now with educational messages around recycling, waste reduction, watersheds, and just recently, this last year, we launched a program on the story of your water. So students are now able to learn about their water, their watershed, where our water comes from, and how we use it.
Getting to the children is important. Why is that?
Well, first of all, it's that generation that they're going to be the ones that help us, take care of environmental problems that are happening now. They take this message home. On average, our program costs about $8 a student to implement, and think about that. That's a very affordable advertising for us. We get that message taken home to all of the students. Take that message home to their parents. And it's an engaging program. It's not just us talking to them. The students are actually participating and having discussions about, we talk to them about what is an entitlement to water and who has the right to water. And they really get into good discussions about water and where water comes from. A lot of times the students don't even know where our water comes from, and they don't even know where the Ventura River is.
Does the city offer presentations to all grades?
Yeah, it's a K through 12 program. The one that we have now is mostly it's adapted for middle school and high school students because we like to have that rich discussion with them, but we can do programs at any grade level.
To find out more about the free environmental education programs the City of Ventura offers, call Jill Sarek or go to cityofventura.net/greenschool. Today on the show, we've been talking about water awareness and conservation with the Never Waste campaign, the sustainability of ocean-friendly gardens and landscapes, the free educational outreach programs available in the City of Ventura, and the upcoming online film contest. The WaterTake 1 online short film contest is a creative way to highlight the serious issues impacting our water resources, and also a way that can showcase how we can make a difference. If you're a potential sponsor, or if you'd like to sponsor the event, or if you're a filmmaker wanting to submit your film, visit WaterTake1.com. For green tips and green product giveaways on your phone, text the word Ventura to 39798. Message and data rates may apply, up to 3 messages per month. Reply stop to stop. Terms and conditions at 805insider.com terms. Sustainable Ventura TV for a better tomorrow.